Hey, what's up, family? This is Angel, the messenger. This video is about the Kawasaki, um, the 2022, and I would say the 2023 Kawasaki Ultra 310 LX with the extended deck, gold and black, or copper and black as they put it, in color. So this is my experience. This is coming from a point of view of me owning that vessel, and in comparison to previous vessels that I've either ridden or owned myself. Now, a little background history. I've been riding now for about 4 years, going on 5 years. I put about, I'll say about 300 to 400 hours of riding in the water, minimum. I'm just guessing out of the top of my head. Probably more along the 500 range or better, to be honest with you, thinking about it. I could tell you, I'm going to give you the pluses of the Kawasaki, and then I'm going to tell you what I don't like about the Kawasaki and why ultimately I wouldn't get it again. What I loved about the Kawasaki, was the comfort level. The seats are the best in class. They're plush. If you're a person that is not into racing per se, you're about comfort, about driving the Cadillac in the water, that's the ski. That's the Cadillac in the water, particularly in chop and in rough water. That ski is phenomenal. I could go 2, 3, 4 hours on that ski. I didn't feel no pain, you know? Now, if you have a Yamaha or a Sea-Doo, you're gonna probably have some, fatigue, as I call it, from riding in the water. What I liked as well is that ski is the look. The look is beautiful. Some people don't like it. They say it looks like a spark, whatever. I love the look. The look with the LEDs, phenomenal. It's standalone, probably one of the best looking, if not the best looking vessel in the water, in my opinion, in terms of skis. The LX that has the sound system, the sound system was great. The way the speakers are put, the way it sounds, it's awesome. I ain't gonna tell you no lies about that. It has a lot of amenities, like the little camera in the back. If you're gonna reverse or if you're towing somebody, you can see them, which is excellent. It's not the top of the line camera or nothing like that, but it's a good camera. You can see a lot with that. Stability, like I said, on that in the water, it's very stable, very controllable. In choppy water, it's not an acrobat like the Sea-Doo RXPX. It doesn't take turns as good, especially at low speed. If you want to take a turn, you got to kind of accelerate it and hit hard to turn the vessel. It's back end heavy. It's kind of like a car that slides a lot. So you're gonna get, with the sponsons, you're gonna get that, for the factory, you're gonna get that extra lateral rollout, if you know what I mean from skiing experience, versus a sports car 911 feel with an RXPX or one of the smaller jet skis. The acceleration on that ski is excellent for the size, and it's great. Overall, it's an awesome jet ski. It's worth the money. It's a good ski. These are the negatives now. I'm gonna tell you the negatives. Oh, and it has a lot of space. You could put a house inside that cabin. You could put so many things on the side. The gullwing side doors that they got, love them. That was awesome. And again, the comfort level, you could carry a whole bunch of stuff in that ski, soda, bottles, food, whatever. The extended deck was great, loved it. Now for the negatives. And the negatives are very negative. So I'm gonna start with the first negative. Draft. The vessel is deep in the water. It's a real deep V-hole. And you get swamped. If you're not in a lake, if you're in anywhere going 3, 4 miles an hour, the nose of the ski is always going into the water, and it scares me because it makes me feel like the ski is going under, like I'm like flooded out or something. So it gives me that phobia, which makes me lose confidence at low speed. And also, I get submarined quite often when I was on that ski. I've got submarined with little 2-foot waves that just completely went over my body. I went out one time in a really bad windy day, which I shouldn't have been out there, period, but you know, I kind of take risks. And I got hit by a wave that almost knocked me off. It wasn't for my my Jet Tribe vest, which I gotta commend Jet Tribe on having that. Excuse me, there's a fly in my face here. I gotta commend Jet Tribe for having that breastplate on their vest. That actually saved me from a very powerful wave that went over my body in the swamp to ski. Had I not had that vest on, I definitely would have got punched in the chest and fell. And I would have been in trouble because I was in a very rough water. Please excuse the background noise. So it bottoms out a lot, and it's always, you can't have nothing in your hands, whatever, because you're gonna get swamped. You're gonna get swamped. So if you're a person that doesn't like to get wet, the Kawi's not for you. You're gonna get wet on a Kawi. It's not the kind of thing you can wear like a suit and you're gonna ride around and when I mean a suit, I mean like a 3-piece. You're not gonna go to the wedding taking a jet ski from here to that island on a Kawasaki. Do not do it. You will get wet. There's no doubt about it. You could do that on a Sea-Doo, Yamaha maybe, but definitely not the Kawi. All right. Now, other thing I don't like about that ski is poor materials. The plastic pieces around that ski got white in less than a year. They're black plastic pieces. They look white. They look ashy white. You would have to recondition that plastic and heat it up with a gun and all kinds of stuff just to make it look normal, or paint it over, period, in some way. It was awful. It's as awful as that fucking horn in the background that's irritating me right now. It was awful. You know, it was just like everything. You look at the ski looks new, and you have this white, nasty, pasty plastic that goes on the sides like that on the angles. It was horrible. So I can tell you right now, the plastic on that ski is really bad, low quality plastic, especially those 2 pieces that are, if you look at that ski, you'll see what I'm talking about. The lights, the LED lights. The LED lights in the front got water incursion in them. They started to get moisture in them, and eventually they fizzled out. So it tells me that and that's in less than a year. That was in one season. The season wasn't even over. I was saying about 2 months of me riding every day, because I ride a lot. That ski took water. Somehow, somewhere, I don't know. I would say about 50 to 60 hours in, I had water incursion in one of my lights. And that one water incursion on that light created a secondary effect where none of both LEDs went, and I had to take it to the dealer and get a replacement, which they never got to me because the parts are taking forever. They took months, literally. I never got them. And I don't have the ski anymore, so it doesn't matter. I'll explain later. The sound system. Awesome music. Awesome. But what about it? The shit shut down on me about 2 months in. Same thing. Somehow salt or whatever it is got into the system, and it killed I think, knowing from what I know from music, it probably killed my amplifier, so my speakers were not kicking anything. If I try to turn it on, it'll blow the fuse. The fuses are located inside of the compartment, the front compartment, all the way in the bottom, which is stupid to me because water goes down, and so if there's going to be a leak or any water in there, it's going to go straight into the battery area where the fuses are, even though they're covered with plastic. It doesn't make sense to me. You want to put the fuses and the battery on a higher level, if anything, not in the lowest bottom part. That's not smart, but they did that. And guess what? When I checked the fuses, all those fuses were burning out and corroded, or just corroded. Period. Garbage. Bad design. And there's a guy on YouTube, I forgot his name off the top of my JD, I think it's called JD something. But JD's Waterworld, I believe. He had to change his whole harness. All right, and basically I think I would have to have done the same, which I didn't get around to doing. So I'm glad I didn't do it, because it would have been a waste of time. So harness issues, electrical issues, big time on that ski. Okay, another problem that happened to me and to about 2 other guys that had that Kawi that I know personally was that the key fob, when you put it in, by the way, here's my key, proving that I own that ski. Okay, there it is. This key fob goes into a slot. For some reason, this going into that slot many times did not activate the jet ski. You would get stranded. It happened to two of my friends. It happened one time to me, where the battery was, I had to play with that thing and mess with it and go through all kinds of nonsense just to get my ski to turn on. And it usually happens at the worst moments. Like you're at the dock and you got to get your ski out and now it doesn't turn on. It happened like that to one of my friends. It was a nightmare for him. He had to get the whole steering thing, the whole, whatever's in there, in the steering column that goes to that key, replaced. Again, electrical issues, wiring harness issues. All right. The next thing, the next issue that I see with that ski to see, is buoyancy. Now, if you're not used to the buoyancy, if you came from a Sea-Doo like I did, I've had 2 Sea-Doos, I've ridden 2 Yamahas, and I started with a Kawi many years ago in the 90s. In the early 90s, I didn't have it. My friend had a Kawi, and we rode a lot around his Kawi. The jet ski, the real jet skis, and buoyancy. So if you come from a Sea-Doo, the platform is a lot more level. When you stand on it, it doesn't wobble as much. If you stand on the Kawi, you have a tendency to roll over a lot easier. So you have to have much better balance, and you got to kind of know how to get on and off the ski a lot better. So novice users or people who you're just trying to ride around will tip over easier and fall in the water or just drag the whole ski down because they're not used to that. I had to get used to it because I came from I had an RXTX, which is an awesome platform and stability. So when I got on that one, I had to learn how to balance it a little better. So if you're not into balancing, if you got bad feet or whatever, don't try to mess with the Kawi. It would definitely, in that sense, not a good thing. So besides the radio and the lights and the ignition system, here's a real big problem with that ski. So I was riding the ski. By the way, I maintained that ski flawlessly. I cleaned it up every time I took it out. I do only salt water. I don't do fresh water really. I'm open ocean and hard rivers. So I ride aggressive. The ski started giving me issues at one point where it would not pass. It started giving me less power. It went past 50, and I was wondering what was the situation with this. And I looked at everything that I could think about. Maybe it was belt slip, maybe something like that. I checked everything. It was boosting, but it wouldn't give me power. And then it was giving me fluctuation and boost and all kinds of stuff. So what I discovered was that when I took out the seats and I looked at the engine, the exhaust manifold, it has like a curve, that would be 90 degree. There's a piece of metal that clamps onto another piece of metal there. And that piece of metal says supercharger on it, and then it has an exhaust that goes to the back. Right there where that clamps at, there are seals. They are, stock factory seals that come in there, the metal plates, like a little metal plate of aluminum or copper, whatever that is. It was leaking water from there. The water comes out of that. So as I was giving it gas, once I hit a certain mile per hour, let's say around 50, 52, 53, the boost and the pressure of that water was literally leaking out of there. This is a factory. I did nothing to the ski at this point, nothing at all. And it was doing, I'm like, what is going on here? I couldn't pass 50. Then it went to 40, then it went to 30. No explanation, just, I didn't know. So then I had to take red silicone, cleaned that all out. I cleaned that whole, both of those surfaces. I put red silicone on both of them, and I made them to a brand new gasket, put it in there, and it sealed it. And now I was getting power again. So now the ski was running good to some degree. It was running okay. But what happened? The wheel, the speed wheel on that started to rust out. Matter of fact, every screw, every bolt on that ski showed the rust of a ski that was like 10 years old inside of a garage and never oiled. I lubricated those things over and over. I cleaned them out. They kept rusting on me. So I took the ski to get serviced by the dealer, which was a horror. They did a bad job. But this is the result. They basically covered my ski with plastic wrap, and they didn't really winterize my ski as they said they did. And I'm not gonna mention the dealer because they kind of like made right in some other ways. But I was not happy, and I would never take my ski to get serviced again over there. Those that know. I'm in a lot of circles, so people that know. The thing is, even if the ski was covered in moisture, the amount of rust that was in that ski, in the motor, was horrible. When I took that wrap off to start my ski this season in April of this year, the screws were completely rusted. The wheels for the supercharger and all those things rusted out. Horrible, horrible rust. And I told the dealer about it. He was like, oh, that's normal for Kawasaki, and it is. I realized that it is because on my Sea-Doo, that never happened. I never had that kind of rust or corrosion on anything on the Sea-Doo unless you absolutely did not take care of that Sea-Doo. The only time I seen that. These things look like they were on the Titanic. Just to be honest with you. I cleaned them out. I wire brushed them. I cleaned them out. I lubricated it, and it lasted nice for a minute. So that was that. But for a brand new ski that cost $26,000 pretty much out the door with all the extras and stuff that I got on there, you know, with the insurance, well, taxes and all that. It's like it was about 2021 or something like that because they add all this extra nonsense. And then I put some other stuff plus taxes. It came out to like $25,000, $26,000. For a jet ski of that kind of money, you're supposed to have stainless steel across the board. Why they don't have stainless steel bolts and screws and nuts behooves me. The cheap iron that they're using on these things, stop it, Kawasaki. Stop it. It's corny for you guys to use that shit on a ski of that caliber. That's a big no-no. And I can tell you that Sea-Doo and Yamaha don't do that. They just don't. They got much better materials, much better metal. I've yet to see corrosion on the Sea-Doos, even in the IBRs. As long as you clean that ski out and throw a little lubrication or WD-40 or something like that on there after use, that thing will last you forever. Not Kawi. You could wash it, clean it, hit it with whatever. It's going to rust. And it's going to rust ugly, really bad. Those where you would have to paint those screws over, especially the ones on the outside, the ones that hold the windscreen, they looked like they're like aluminum, so they look grayish and white. They look horrendous. Horrendous. I have no idea why they would use that nonsense on that. But that's Kawi. That's the truth about what my experience was in terms of the material and the workmanship. Now the hull, top notch. Best hull in the industry. Bar none, the best thing in the water in terms of the hull. I love the hull on that thing in terms of how it cuts chop. I could go 40 miles an hour, 45, and cut through 1-2 foot waves with no issue, and everybody else jumping, crashing, whatever, and I'm cutting right through like a knife. No worries. That I can guarantee you on that Kawi. Okay? But reliability in terms of the engine, in terms of like what I had my experience with leakage from a stock motor, no bueno. All right, and then after I fixed that, I kept having issues with I had surge, where the motor would be running up high, but I didn't get the speed. And then I had a point where my speed would stop at literally at 6,000 RPMs, and I couldn't go any faster no matter what I did. Like some kind of computer issue. The crazy thing is I went to Florida on a trip, and I took it there, and I drove from New York. I'm from New York. I drove to Florida with a team, and we had a great time. And miraculously, I don't know what happened over there. Maybe it was the fuel or whatever, but my ski ran beautifully at that point. It ran great. It was running nice. It was doing great. It just happened by itself. I don't know. So again, it leads me to believe there was a computer glitch issue or an electronic issue. Well, an electronic issue it does have, and I'm going to tell you the worst one that I encompassed, and that it cost me partially, I would say, the ski. What happened was that the reverse switch on that ski has a delay. In some cases, the delay could be 1 or 2 seconds. Sometimes the delay could be many seconds. You got to keep doing it for it to start to kick in. Now, it's not a braking system. The reverse is not a brake, but it's supposed to cut throttle and then, if at a certain point, kick a reverse motion into the water where you go reverse, which would slow you down to some degree. Well, it just so happens that on more than one occasion, I tried to reverse and it actually lurched forward. and hit something. I hit a yacht at one time. It was an embarrassment because I'm a professional in terms of, like, I've been doing this 100 times over. It's not a big deal for me. Not a professional in terms of a licensure, but I never ran into somebody's yacht or another ski like that. So I was trying to go forward to tie up, and when I did that and I tried to reverse, it actually lurched forward, and by doing so, I ended up hitting the yacht. Now, nothing happened. It was no problem, but I got kind of screamed at, you know what I mean? I'm not particular to that. But big boy, you ain't screaming at me like that. But I had to eat that one, and I had to apologize and say, look, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't mean to. And it's because of that reverse. That reverse switch on that ski has a delay, and sometimes, again, it lurches forward instead of actually, so it's something, a software issue, is a batch issue. Maybe I just had bad luck, but I think it's not just me, because I've heard other people say that they had similar experiences. Now, on one particular occasion, not too long ago, about a month and a half ago, I was in New York riding when I came from the trip. About 2 weeks after the trip, I came back. This was March 27th, and I was blowing. I was going really fast, you know. And I'm not going to say where it happened, but I was really going really fast, and I was kind of. I realized I was going too fast, which was my fault, for the fact that I was near a pier, which I shouldn't have been going that fast on the side of a pier. I only had 20 feet to the side of that pier, and that was too close, to be honest with you. And I always tell people, don't go fast, and don't actually be next to a pier, a long pier, because, you know, you can catch a fish line over your face or something like that, which is, I've seen happen to me and to other people. I didn't catch one over my face, but I got cut in my hand one time from a fish line, because I stopped it with my hand and it cut me. So it's possible. So I was going really fast. It was one of those moments where you're kind of acting stupid, clowning around, and that was my error. Being too close to the pier, being too close to things like that, land-based objects. What happened was I was coming too fast, and then I was either gonna go left without looking and hit somebody because other people were next to me and I couldn't see them because at that point it would happen, or I was gonna hit something in front of me, or I was gonna do a hard right. So I attempted to slow down. I couldn't slow down. When I tried to slow down, I let go throttle. Obviously, I hit. Well, actually, with the Kawi, it's not like the Sea-Doo. With the Kawi, the throttle and the reverse are on the same switch. So if you reverse the acceleration and you go forward with the thumb, which is sprained right now from that accident, if you hit that, it's supposed to stop throttle, and you know, you slow down with the friction of the water, and then kind of kick in on the reverse a little bit, right? It didn't do that. It paused for a second, then it went woo and accelerated again. When it did that, my timing was off. I had like a 5-second time frame here. I wasted 3 seconds on doing this now. Now I can't stop. I'm gonna hit the thing in front of me. I could turn left and maybe hit somebody, which I didn't want to do. And my other option was to make a hard right and pray that I could barely cut a circle, a half circle, 180, without crashing into anything. Well, I failed, okay? I hit the side. And I hit impact at around 40, 50 miles an hour, because what I did was I did a hard turn. I slowed down at that point as much as I could, and then I gunned it. And I gunned it as hard as I could, but unfortunately, without getting into too much detail, it just didn't work out. Because the ass of that ski is so long, and it slides like a Cadillac. It's not a Porsche. And it slid, and as it was sliding, I was going forward, and I almost made it. Almost don't count. I hit something. Not gonna say again what I did exactly per se, but I crashed that vessel, and I hit it hard, really hard. And thank God I'm alive, because I should have been and could have been dead, put it that way. But part of that, and I said this on a Facebook situation, was the fact that the time window that I had to slow down or do whatever was cut off and decreased dramatically, because the reverse switch on that thing, number one, did not kick in on time, and then lurched forward again and took away space and time that I could have used to try to evade this collision or avoid the collision. And as a result, that was it. Well, I'm kind of glad that the ski's gone, because fuck the ski. I got insurance, and it's that. I got the new RXPX 300 Apex. Love it. Love it. Don't have those issues in terms of the throttle response, and the braking response on the Sea-Doo is bar none. It does not have any lag. There's no time delay. No second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, no lurching, none of that. That happens with the Kawasaki. When I mentioned this on the forum, I was told that there was driver error, that I'm crazy, whatever. Listen, we all make errors. Rider error I'm sure the rider error was that I was too close to the pier and I was going too fast as well. That I give as rider error. All right. The rest of the stuff, which is the delay in that switch, which was detrimental in me making a decision and also trying to evade a collision, had at least 50 to 60% of the reason why this happened. All right. So I take part in saying that, hey, I was going too fast to begin with and I shouldn't have been that close. That's my fault. That's rider error, you know. And the experience has taught me not to do that, but I wasn't thinking at that point to that level. And because it wasn't braking, and for those that want to argue, oh, you don't have brakes on a ski, it serves as a brake because it's a counter current to the movement that you're doing, all right? Friction is what breaks. As you let go of throttle, the friction of you hitting the water slows down the vessel. That's the braking. We know that. You don't have brake pads like on a car and all like that. You don't have rotors. However, the reverse thruster, like on an airplane, a reverse thruster, that's how it's supposed to function. It's supposed to slow down at the very least, even if it's a few miles an hour. That vessel, that airplane, it's the same concept. Air is a fluid, in case people don't know that. So the same concept. You reverse the thruster, the flow goes against the movement, and in essence, you're using the water as like a wall to push backwards. So you're slowing yourself down. All right, along with the fact that the friction itself, as the craft is slowing down, slows you down. All right, so for those that want to go into words, say, oh, that's not a braking system, jet skis don't have brakes, kiss ass, kiss rocks, kick rocks rather, kiss rocks if you want to too. All right, but the bottom line is we know that. All right, so this whole semantic argument that they was having on Facebook, kiss my ass on that. All right, that's what I think about that. And there's a guy from the water something journal, water boat journal. What the fuck is this channel? You know, the watercraft journal, I think it is. I forgot his name. He's the guy that does most of the talking. Hey, look, dude, you know a lot. You know a lot about a lot of shit, and I'm gonna find out your name and I'm gonna post it on the title so that you can see it. You know a lot about jet skis in general, way more than me, and that I give you hands down. You are the pro in that. But what you're not is fucking perfect. And you're not gonna tell me my experience. Tell me that I'm making this up, that it was just driver error, rider error, and all that, because you wasn't there. I'm telling you guys my experience. For anybody that wants to get a ski, you're on your own risk with a Kali when it comes to electrical. The electrical issues on, especially maybe it's because of the saltwater thing. In saltwater, which is what I ride in, horrible electrical issues. And you could look at JD's Water World and see all the junk that he's got to go through for that ski. It's a great ski overall. It's just got too many gremlins. You know what I mean? And it's not the best turning ski and the best of anything. It's just a great overall ski. You know, for a family person, it's a great ski. You can ride you, your wife, your kids, your friends, whatever. It's a very awesome platform for that. Rough water, awesome platform. Probably the best for rough water. But aside that, it's got a lot of electrical gremlins and it's got very low quality metallic parts on that ski. All right, this is a long video, so please, I'm sorry, but I'm giving you the whole story best as I can. All right, so this guy from the Watercraft Journal was saying that that's impossible, that this, that, the other. Nothing's impossible, especially with electronics. All right, I'm guaranteeing you that not only me, but at least 2 or 3 other people that I know had issues with that reverse thrust on that ski, aka the brake, as has been said in other videos. All right, whatever you want to call it reverse, call it the braking system, KSRD, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. All right, it's supposed to slow you down and let go throttle and not accelerate you, that's for sure. How are you going to let go throttle, press the reverse, and it goes faster? Or slows down and then it takes off again? That's not supposed to happen at all. That's like you hitting the brakes on your car, all right, and it accelerates. Somehow you excel. It's not supposed to happen that way. Okay, ever. Even if you let go of the brakes, you're not supposed to be in neutral or on a neutral state and the car lurches forward. That's going to create problems, all right? And that's what happened with the Kawi on my experience. More than one occasion. And this last occasion, it was detrimental because of the speed that I was going in, which was too fast. And that I take credit for, All right. So I smashed it. I got hurt. The ski was destroyed. My thumb is still hurting to this day. This only happened not even, let's see, almost 2 months. But since I work and I got to do things, I'm using my hands all day long. I haven't fully healed at all with my hand. You know, my right thumb. When I was trying to hit that reverse so hard that I literally sprained my my thumb to the point of like it hurts like crazy. Even now it's hurting right now as I speak. You know, so it's gonna heal, I'm sure, but it's gonna take time. You know, bottom line, I would never again get the Kawi. I don't like the rust on it. I don't like the maintenance on it. The way that everything that's built, that motor, you take it apart. When you look apart, you take everything out apart. It's very tight in there. I don't like how it's made. It's ugly on the inside. It's a lot of guys with me like big fucking hands like me. I can't do nothing with that ski. I gotta sit there trying to finagle and do things. I do my own work, so I know what I'm doing. I ain't no expert, but I know how to fix things. I do mechanical on the side in terms for myself. I ain't gotta pay nobody $160 to fix a ski, you know, unless it has to do with a lot of extra stuff that I just don't have the time for, because I can get the tools and I know how to do stuff. The thing is now, like on a Sea-Doo, I have a Sea-Doo and I have the Apex, boom, all right, which acceleration wise, turning and everything, hands down destroys everything in the water. Okay, love it. No complaints. Throttle response, acceleration, turning ability, you name it, and it looks awesome with that carbon fiber. I love it. Only regret that I have with that Apex is it's not as big, which is the point, as the Kawi. I like the extended platform of the Kawi, but so what? Okay, and it doesn't have as much room. It definitely doesn't have nowhere near as much room on the inner compartment. Other than that, so what? Oh, and I don't have a cup holder either. Which that they need to do something about that with the Sea-Doo. But I'm gonna see if I can modify one of the cup holders to put it on the Sea-Doo. All right, which I did with the RXTX. Other than that, it's hands down the Sea-Doo's a way better craft. And the RXTX platform, if the RXTX, not the RXPX, the RXTX platform versus the T3 hull versus the Kawi, I would choose the Sea-Doo. Overall, the Sea-Doo. All right, now in rough water, absolutely you have no other options, and you have to use rough water. And you guys are going from here to Antarctica. The Kawi wins that, but it's not much of a difference enough to me for me to say, hey, I'm gonna get the Kawi over it just because of that. The Sea-Doo has a great platform, stability wise. It definitely accelerates better in terms of being over the water, kind of like hovering over it, versus the draft or the anchor effect of the Kawi, which you have to go like 60, 70 for it to actually be off the water really in a good, decent level. And now you got to add a ride plate to lift it up, which is, again, why? You know, so that's my experience with Kawasaki. For all those that really want to know what the Kawi's like, that haven't got it or see it and are wondering, beautiful machine. When it runs good, but when it gives you problems and gremlins, you can fucking kick rocks with that shit and get rid of it. All right, everybody that I know personally has gotten rid of their Kawasaki at this point. All right, there are no Kawis in my team except one guy, and it's an old one, and he doesn't ride that much. All right, there are no Kawis. The shit sucks. Kawi did a great job in terms of innovation and the attempt, but they need better materials of metal. They need better plastic on that thing. And they sure as hell need to upgrade their electrical and seal it a lot better and move things in a position where the water doesn't hit it as often, which makes, why would you put wiring and fuses in the bottom of the ski when you want to keep things above water? Duh. Anyway, this is it for me. I'm not going to keep rambling on. I hope I gave somebody some insights. I said my piece, like I said about the guy, whatever your name is, I'll figure it out. I'll find out from the Watercraft Water Journal when you was talking on Facebook. I got out the group. I don't really respond to none of these idiots because everybody's tough on, the gram or tough on Facebook. But let me tell you something, man. The way some of these people reacted in the Kawasaki forum, which I'm glad I don't own a Kawi. Instead of saying, hey man, I hope you were okay. Damn, I just got a lot of damage. What happened? It was throwing rocks at me and disrespect over an accident that I had. Even if it was completely my fault. You should have never did that. That's like me saying, somebody got hurt, and I'm like, yo, man, you're just a complete fucking moron. You shouldn't have never. That person obviously knows if they did that on purpose or by mistake, or that they were moronic in what they did. They got that on their own. They got that memo. They don't need you to step on them. What that man needs right now is for you to pick him up, help him out. And then you can say, yo, you shouldn't have went that fast, or you shouldn't. Okay, we could do that. But that's not what happened. I got nothing but reproach, people joking around, laughing. And there was like one guy or two that was like, yo, man, I've had that issue with the Kawasaki before. Proving my point, in other words. And they too were shunned and called idiots or whatever. So it shows me that the Kawi guys, in general, not everybody, but in general, the ones that are into the Kawis, assholes. Pretty much assholes. You know what I mean? And you got assholes in every category, but those guys, all of them were assholes. Okay? So I'm glad to be back down with the Sea-Doo gang, where I belong, where my heart always was. All right? I should have never got that Kawi, but hey, experience as a teacher. And I'm glad in that sense that I got it. All right? Insurance took care of it. Goodbye. Here's the key. Here's the extra key that I had. I had extra keys. I went and got stuff upgraded. I did a whole bunch of stuff. I put a lot of money into that ski. Doesn't matter. I got my money back. Fuck it. It is what it is. I lost a couple of thousand. Doesn't matter. I'm happy with the Apex. So carry on, gentlemen. And if anybody want to shoot back, hey, shoot back. When I leave this, and I'm going to hit y'all up. I'm going to put your name. I'm going to post you. Dude from Watercraft, you got something to say to me, man? You can make a video and talk to me the same way I'm talking to you. No more fucking Facebook, man. And if you ever see me, because I'm all over the place. I'm part of a team. You ever see me, you come say something to me because you got really personal the way you said things. And I didn't take it kindly, man. So I can tell you that if I ever see you, I will approach you. And I will say what you got to say in a negative way to my face. I didn't take kindly to those words and the disrespect that you and some of the other motherfuckers on that Facebook feed were saying. Okay, because nobody showed any kind of concern or any kind of like, hey, what happened? You just completely dismissed what the story was. You didn't even hear the story. You just dismissed it as, oh, it's driver. It can't be the Kawi at all. It can't be the machine. The machine never went wrong. There's never been nothing ever went wrong with a car or with a plane or a defect in craftsmanship or making products. No, nothing's ever happened, especially electronically, right? It's just got to be the end consumer. And that's full of shit. Just because Kawi pays you money, obviously, and you work for them in some form of fashion, and you kissing their ass, and you getting, likes and dislikes and whatever, don't disrespect what somebody else went through. Okay, dude? That's how I took it. Don't disrespect what somebody else went through. And I hope that if you don't see this, somebody points it to their direction, you can respond, man. I got no problem with that. And like I said, if you ever want to see me face to face, man, I go all over the place, different states. I go out of state. I'm not just a jet skier that goes to the backyard at the lake, man. I'm in the water, real rough water, New York City water, Florida water, all right, North Carolina, South Carolina water. I hit different places, so it is what it is, man. All right, everybody else, God bless. Peace out.